welcome to episode 28 of the Zeens and Roger Crochet Vlogcast. I am Rosina, I am 5'7" 3/4 and I might weigh around 140 pounds. I don't know because I don't have any scales. Hello, how are you? You alright? I'm okay. I've just had to take some paracetamol because I've got a headache. But other than that, I'm doing alright. I hope I haven't got lipstick on my teeth, because sometimes I do. Yeah, welcome to another crochet packed episode. I've done crochet, I've done shopping, I've done knitting, and I'll just get started. I've written it all down on a nice list and I'm going to follow my list today because I don't want to leave anything out. I'm going to leave all my Edinburgh stuff until the end because I don't know. I don't know why you wouldn't be interested in hearing all about a yarn festival, but some of you might switch off and go, blah, nah, not for me, so I'll leave it to the end. So I will, before I start with finished objects and works in progress, you're going to have to wait for those while I talk about stuff I want to talk about. Yeah, so first off, I mentioned in the granny special that I'd done like a small stack of random granny squares, and I said I wanted to send them off to a charity. My friend has told me about Woolly Hugs, and they are the exact sort of people I need. You make granny squares or crochet squares and you send them off to Woolly Hugs, and then they make blankets out of them for different charities and stuff like that. I think you can choose. I think they sort of have a different charity sort of every couple of months or so. I can't quite remember how it worked, but I know that it wasn't just like going to one set charity. There were several that you could choose from. There are stipulations though, and my granny squares aren't big enough. They have to be 6 inches or 12 inches. I've got a couple that fit, but these ones that are this size, I need to do 2 more rounds on each of them, and then they will be ready to send off once I've sewn in the ends and stuff. So that's what I'm going to do. So if that's something you're interested in doing as well, then look up Woolly Hugs, but I know that there are probably other kind of charities like that. I've just caught a glimpse of my big fat head. I apologise for the fringe or lack thereof. It's just really getting on my nerves today, so I've whopped it back. So there's that. Job done. Tick. Tick it off my list. And then out today is the 100th issue of Inside Crochet magazine, and it's a party issue because 100 issues, and I have got a bag in this issue, and it's a stonking issue actually. There's all, like even stuff like this, like a little party hat, which I thought was cool. I will show you mine in a minute, but I haven't actually bookmarked it, so I'll have to be flicking through this. I really want to make this. Can you see why? Why do you think I might want to make that tank top? It is smashing. I really like that. And I would have bought this magazine for that pattern alone probably, because it's always just really good. All sorts of things. Wall hanging. They're all the rage at the minute. I'm going to sneeze. I can feel a sneeze coming on. I'll try not to. Ali from Homemade at My Place has done some crochet granny bunting. Amazing. Amazing. I love that. Again, it's a granny. Let's try and move on from grannies, shall we? Let's just... Fellow podcaster Lulu Loves has done a... Oh, hang on. A table runner. I can't show you that actually because it's got this thing. A table runner. It's very pretty. I wonder if there's a picture of it somewhere else, and I'll have a look at that. Do you watch Lulu Loves? You should. It's a lovely podcast. Emma does wonderful crochet. It's just beautiful. I should do more recommendations for podcasts and stuff. I always intend to, and then I forget, and I need to write it down on the list. But it's kind of like I do a casual mention every now and again, rather than a here is a list of people you should watch. Who else? Oh, I tell you who. While I'm flicking through my magazine, Cherie from Ollie and Bella has a new podcast. She's got 3 episodes out, and it's lovely. And she's not that far from me. Hi, Cherie. Pretty little coasters by the Petal Shed. And oh yes, let's have a look. See, just beautiful photographs as well. This is not supposed to be a magazine review, by the way. I can't find that table runner, that's what I wanted to show you, but fairly pretty. There's all sorts of pretty things in this issue. I don't know, I can't find it. Right, well I can find this. I'm going to hide the graph, because that will give away my secrets. Just show you this picture. I don't have the bag back yet, because it's obviously very new, but you'll notice that it is a geo rainbow, just like that blanket I did. And they got in touch with me a few months ago and saying, because that blanket, this one that just happens to be living on my sofa, because this blanket was so popular, could I come up with a new way of doing this design? And so, bag. They actually said, could you design a bag? And lo and behold, a Geo Rainbow C2C bag was already on my list of things to do, because I thought it would be a great idea. So I did it. And I just really enjoy doing a C2C project. I really like the rhythm of a C2C, and I like the colour work you can do with it. And then I thought about doing my next crochet along would be a C2C, and I don't know how you feel about that. And it's not that it's going to be any time soon. I don't think it would be as popular as the Granny Cal, but it would be nice if somebody hadn't tried a C2C project before to join in with a Cal. I don't know when that would be. What are your thoughts on that? C2C Cal? Not a C2C Cal? It's just that was a really good fun project to work on. Nice, colourful and cheerful. Oh, I've just closed my book. Issue 100, tick. Tick. And do you remember I said that I quite often add random stuff to my list of things to talk about? I've got a couple of those if you're interested. One of them was I'll go back to crochet in a minute. One of them was last week when I bought some. I think I bought some wine. No, I was buying some beer. I wanted some beer, and I went to Sainsbury's, and they started looking at me funny. And the woman went, "I almost ID'd you then." And I was like, "Oh, almost." She went, "Yeah, because then I saw your face." Thanks. And I was like, "What, my old face?" She's like, "Oh no, I didn't mean that. I'm really sorry. It's just I wanted to look in your eyes. You can tell a lot by your eyes." I just thought in my head, my old eyes, but I didn't say it out loud. She almost redeemed herself, because she said, "Oh, don't worry. I ID'd somebody that was 40 last week, so you're all right." And I thought, well, next year I'll be 40, so if she doesn't think I'm looking like I'm near 40, then that's a winner. So there was some mild redemption, but it wasn't enough to say that my face looked older than the rest of me. But I got over it, sort of. So that's random mention number 1. I think actually that might be the most random thing. Yeah, almost ID'd, but not quite because of my old face. I'm going to take a 3-week break this time. because it's the Easter holidays and I've got the kids, and I'm just going to do the Easter holidays and not worry about recording anything. So I'll be back in 3 weeks, some point in mid-April. Let's take that off my list. Also tick off my list, there are some really annoying like robot accounts on IG at the minute that keep tagging my pictures and my mates' pictures over and over again, repeatedly. Fine, you're tagged in them, but it's really annoying. Basically, one account had literally 6 of my photographs dotted in with 6 of or 6 or so of Eleonora from Coastal Crochet's pictures, and a couple of other people that had just multiple pictures. It's just like, use your own flipping photographs. Fine, you're getting tagged in them, but it's just flooding my Instagram, and just please don't follow those accounts. If you see them, I'm not. They're all fake accounts. Don't follow them. They're really annoying. I haven't really looked into it. I keep reporting them and I keep blocking them because, fair enough, if it was a legit person that wanted to share it and they share one photograph because they really like it, then that's lovely, that's wonderful, I really like that. But it's almost like you're transferring all my pictures over to your feed and going, it's like a weird kind of imposter person that's nicking my stuff. Stop it. So that's my moan of the week. Please, yeah, don't follow those accounts. I don't know what they're there for. A lot of the time they're like selling t-shirts and stuff. It's just like, go away. And then, before I get on to FOs and whips, my last bit of info is I'm setting up a local craft group. I'm doing it. When was it? August, September. I said I was gonna do it, and I haven't. And I've just been sat here going, I'd really like to have a craft group, and then not really done very much about it. Well, I popped into my local library last week and had a chat with someone working there, and they were well up for holding the group at the library. I'd emailed a cafe which I thought was big enough and sort of good enough, but they didn't get back to me. They ignored my message, so there was that. And then I don't really like any of the other venues in the town because they're either too small or they're a bit fusty and not really the sort of place I want to sit. But the library, we've got a brand new done up library, and there is plenty of space, and they're really interested in having community events and getting sort of stuck in with that side of things. So they are equally as enthusiastic about it as me. I've never done anything like this before. Although I quite often have ideas and stuff, I'm useless at instigating them. I know there are plenty of people out there that just get jobs done. I will put off anything and everything I can. I was supposed to phone the dentist 3 weeks ago. Actually, I was supposed to phone the dentist in January and reorganise an appointment. It is now the end of March and I still haven't called the dentist to sort out my appointment. And my appointment, it doesn't matter, it's not interesting. That's an example of how long it takes me to sort myself out. And so I'm amazed that I've done anything about this at all. But watch this space. There will soon be, it's a monthly craft group in Ottery. So woohoo! Tick. And now let's move on to, should we let's do finished objects, because you can see one of them. And that is my Granny Rocks jumper. I don't know why I said it like that. Granny does indeed rock. I love my granny. And as opposed to the other two, which were colour blocks, this is a stripe, as is obvious. I've written a blog post about it, which I popped up online a couple of days ago, so you can read more about it and see some hilarious photographs of me mucking about wearing my jumper. And I suppose I ought to tell you about it. It is, I printed off the pattern. I don't often print out patterns anymore, but I did for this one because I wanted to take it in the car when I went somewhere. Can't remember where it was now. So I printed it off. But I don't, yeah, more and more I'm not bothering printing patterns off anymore. I just look at them on my phone. But it's, yeah, Granny Rocks jumper by Iron Lamb, and it's on Ravelry, and it is a paid for pattern, and I paid for a granny jumper pattern because I wanted it. I could well have adapted the colour block jumper pattern, but the shaping was completely different, and rather than muck about and try and find out why, I was just like, look, just give a fellow designer some cash and find out, because that's what it's all about, isn't it? Oh look, and I've missed a float. I don't know if you can see that, but sewing the sleeves together, I missed a float, and I've got a float here. But I don't mind too much. I don't mind. I did catch it on the cat. The cat, as soon as I put it on, the cat jumped on and started pawing at it, and I was like, no, you'll pull up threads. So I have to be careful when I'm wearing it. Yeah, I've caught it. I think I caught it on the car door or something. I'm gonna have to sort that out. I'll sort that out. It's smashing. I love it. I don't know what to say. What do you want to know? I used loads more yarn than I was supposed to. I have got no full balls left. I did need to I discussed it in the granny special because it's a granny, and basically I've had to order, as you know, I ordered several balls of Drops Extra Fine Merino to make 2 skirts. That wasn't working for me. I decided against that and went for the jumper, thinking that I had just about enough, and if I'd looked at the pattern, I would have had enough if this was Rico Baby Classic Double Knit, which I think might be an acrylic. Doesn't say here. I think it's an acrylic or an acrylic blend, and it's a much lighter wool. The Rico Baby has doesn't say on here either, 100 and I think, oh my god, I can't believe I remember this, it's 165 metres per 50 grams, whereas this is 105 metres per grams. I'm pretty sure that I don't know why that information is actually in my head. 105 metres for this, you see, and the other one's 165 metres. That difference made all the difference. I did not have enough, and I would not have enough, and this is heavier anyway, so you're using more per stitch or something or other, and I had to buy 4 of each, possibly 5 for the mustard, I think, to do the extra details on the cuffs and the neckline and stuff. So just always read the meterage, yardage, because I made the assumption that it would be fine and it wasn't. So yeah, I will check from now on. That will be one of my things when I'm following other people's patterns and stuff. I will check. And now I've got like bits like this left. And so, oh, I'll have to make a scarf, won't I? A granny striped scarf, perhaps. Ooh. They look quite nice. And then there's the brown from the skirt I never used. I quite like that as a colour combination. I don't think I'd need a pink in there. I think the pink would ruin it. I'm using the pink to swatch up something at the minute. I'll talk about that in a sec. I can't remember what I'm supposed to talk about with it because I wrote a load of stuff down on that blog post, so if you want to know more, just Go and read that. And then I talked about it loads in the Granny Cal episode as well, so I don't want to repeat myself. Other than to say I really, really like this jumper. It's just exactly what I wanted. Was there something else I was supposed to say about it? Well, oh yes, there is. Let me just, I'll show you where it comes to. You'll see photographs, but it's quite boxy, you see. It comes down to the waist. It's a size 12 body and a size 10 sleeve, and that's by mistake. I did the size 10 sleeve because I wasn't concentrating properly. I was supposed to do a size 12 sleeve, but it makes absolutely no difference because my twig-like arms fit very comfortably within them. The things I was gonna say is that this is my finished object that is being entered into Faye's different designer cal, because I've never used one of Claudine's patterns before. So totally eligible. And the other cal that I've entered it into is Claudia's cal for the fortune cookie cal. And my fortune was something or other. Oh God, I haven't got it. Depart not from the path which fate has assigned to you. And so I took that to mean make a granny jumper, essentially. I've made granny jumpers before. I've enjoyed making granny jumpers and loved wearing them. And the skirt was going completely wrong. It wasn't as good as I wanted it to be. And I figured do something that you're already familiar with, which is the path that I'm not going to depart from. Fate tells me I'm into grannies, so who am I to argue with fate? A granny square jumper, it became. A granny stripe jumper, it became. So yeah. Is there anything else? Have I missed something? No. My next finished object is knitted, and these I wore in Edinburgh, and they were beautifully warm, even though, I mean, yeah, it was very, very nippy, and my hands were constantly warm. You can probably tell, they are slightly different. Can you tell which one mine is? I didn't knit both of them. These are my Christmas Eve. These were supposed to be my entry for the Winter Wonderland cal. That was a Christmas Eve cast on, and I did cast on this one on Christmas Eve, and I knitted perhaps about 3 rows, and then she went, I've cast on, it's Christmas Eve, I've done my job. And then I got to wherever it was I needed to start doing some fancy stuff, and went, I don't know what I'm doing. I mean, basically I can knit in rows, but I can't do any sort of fancy things, and I didn't understand the pattern. I don't think I chose a very beginner friendly pattern, although the mitts themselves, and for a knitter they would be a piece of cake. The pattern was written as though you assume, you know, it was presuming that you knew how to knit and had some knowledge of terms and stuff, which I didn't, and so I stumbled at every hurdle possible. But I knit this one, my mother-in-law knit this one. This one took me 3 months. This one took her an hour or an hour and a half or something. And the tension is beautifully neat. Everything about it is beautifully neat, and it fits perfectly. This one's slightly baggy, and kept getting caught on everything. I had a little bit of Velcro on my coat and it kept getting scuffed on the Velcro, and so this is all fluffy, which is really annoying. But I don't know, probably would have been annoying if no matter which glove it had happened to. But with the help and guidance of the knitting mother-in-law, I managed to do some increases here. But I was stumped by the thumb, completely stumped about how I should do it, and I've sort of already forgotten, like, picking up stitches and stuff. But then once I got past the thumb, off I went again and did that. That was fine. So it's just things like shaping that obviously is going to be a bit of a pain to learn, but I would like to learn actually. And this wool is an Aran weight yarn. It's Blue Face Leicester, and I've got this much left, and it's from the Wool Kitchen. And I went and saw Helen, I think she's called Helen, the dyer of the Wool Kitchen. Went and saw her and showed her that I made them because she was at Edinburgh. And I showed her and I was like, and then she took a picture, which is somewhere on Instagram, but I just look abysmal. But she showed me continental knitting, and it is, for a crocheter, a game changer. Absolutely. No throwing is, oh, my battery's gonna go. Throwing is, I can do throwing, that's fine, but it's much slower. Continental knitting is going to make knitting a breeze. Well, sort of. And I'm not giving up. I will try more knitting, because I don't want to become an expert knitter, but I just want to be able to go, yeah, I can make you that hat or those mittens, that's fine. And actually, my next thing I want to do, there's no pattern, but I'm going to find something similar. This is ripped out from an old Molly Makes thing, I mean 2 or 3 years ago, but I want to make something like that because they're cool. And I bought the yarn in Edinburgh to do something similar. I don't know. But what I'll do is, at some point, probably in about 1.5 years' time, come back to you and say, look, I've knitted something else, and I used continental knitting to do it. Right, my last 2 finished objects aren't crochet either. But they're sewing, they're not knitting, they're sewing. I finished my bags that I was making. I just noticed a thread on one of them. Snip. Snip. Here's my first finished bag. Quite like that. I bought this fabric on eBay and I really like it and I want more, but I can't find it again. I'm really annoyed. It's a sort of a really nice soft linen-y stuff, but it's really hard. You don't know what you're ordering when you order off eBay or wherever, because if you order something that's linen, it's completely different to the next sort of linen. You'll get a really stiff fabric or a holey fabric, or so changey. I don't know if I'll ever find anything like this again, but it's beautiful. I think I've got enough left to make a tiny bag, but this has got one of my whips in it, which I'll show you in a sec. But this is my other bag that I did, and it's got my makeup in it. I'm not sure I like the height of them. I think I prefer a sort of, like, if it had come up to about here, rather than all of this. I think I've got my sort of ratios wrong. I'd like a squat bag rather than a tall bag. But considering that I just eyeball everything and I don't measure and play by the rules, it's not too bad. It just means that I have to really root about inside to try and find what I'm looking for. But it's got all my makeup in. That's a real makeup clatter noise, isn't it? Sounds like makeup. the clatter of a makeup collection. The noise of it, it's unique. You can always tell it's makeup, sounds like nothing else. So I made those, and the third one that I had that I cut out with that brown fabric I rejected as something I didn't like. I was getting lazy, and I just wanted to get those two finished, and that would have added on extra time to sewing machining and stuff like that, and I just didn't want to. Wasn't feeling it, so it's been folded up and shoved away in a corner somewhere. I don't know where it is. I do, it's upstairs. Okay, so those are my finished objects. Granny jumper, tick. Sewn bags, tick. Knitted mitts, tick. Works in progress. I showed you briefly, didn't I? I'm just swatching out of that merino to try and get a crescent shape for a new shawl. It's going a little bit funny because I've been trying to get away with doing loads of straight rows in amongst increases, so I don't have to increase as much because increasing is annoying, but I'm not going to get away with it because it's curving in on itself, so I'm going to have to reevaluate that. But I've got an idea. But this oh, for God's sake, battery's flashing again. I've obviously put in a Duff battery. I'm going to make a crescent shawl with some of my new yarn. It's not that, that's just a swatch. I've been dithering all week, if not for months actually, about new projects and stuff. And last night I told myself to stop being so indecisive and start something. You've just got to start somewhere, because I was literally leaping from one thing to the next going, how am I going to do this one? How am I going to do that? It's just like, take one at a time, do one at a time, and you'll be all right. So last night I did my first swatch in ages, and maybe today, later on this afternoon, I'm going to start a new shawl project. It's very exciting. I'm very keen to see how it's going to turn out. It might look like a big pile of dog sick, but it might also be stunningly amazing. I don't know. Anyway, I'm going to have to switch off my camera before it shuts me up, and come back with the second, my main work in progress, because that one's only new, and I'm not going to talk about any of the other ones that I've spoken about before. Probably the thing I've been working on most is my new Holey Smokes shawl, and I decided in the end to try a different, I'm not following the same pattern, I'm reworking it so that it's a different shape. And when I say that, it's still a triangle, but it's a different depth of triangle, one that I think works better for me, one that works probably better for those that want to wear it around the front like a scarf rather than a shawl. I am using this, and I daren't say the name because I've had 2 people tell me I'm still saying it wrong, and so I don't want to make a fool of myself. I knew I wasn't saying it exactly right, but I was trying. So sorry if you don't like the way I say it. But anyway, I'm using my brain slice. It's called Dark Grape Squish, and this is what I've done so far. And as you can see, the V is much shallower. I've changed some shaping. Oh my god, changed the shaping, which essentially is a whole pattern rewrite. There's very little that will I'll be able to sort of just cut and paste from the first pattern. The stitches are the same, but the way they're written has all changed. So I'm going to have to do it probably from scratch. It might be easier just to treat it as though it's a different pattern rather than fret about chopping this around and making this over here and putting this up there and blah blah blah. This is my first time using a gradient yarn and I really like it. It was really hard to choose a colour combination from the Whirl set because there are so many different colours, and I know that probably I would love loads of them, but which one would I love the most? I just didn't know. And my favourite bit I haven't even got to yet, and that's the grey and the black, which will work really well with these purples. Don't often use purple, but I want to see this grey and this black come in. I'm probably about, I don't know, halfway, I suppose. What do you reckon? This sort of, the weird shape will block so that this is straight. I'll block that out. I'll be really mean with it and pull it really tight and stuff. And hope for the best that I don't break it or anything. I might get some blocking wires actually. I don't have any blocking wires, and pins are just getting on my nerves these days because they actually ruin a lot of the shapes of shawls, because if you have to pull really aggressively then they're all going to have tension at the pin points and create a wave, which if you want a straight edge it's not going to happen. I tried using I read somewhere, somebody suggested, I don't know who it was, like a really old post somewhere in the middle of the internet, somebody had used the plastic stripping from a grass whizzer, what are they called? Strimmer. Somebody had used that stiff plastic as kind of like a blocking wire so that the tension was held by that, but it all comes in a really tight coil, so that when you undo it to try and lace it through your work, it's still kind of buckly and coily, and it's just not what you need. So I might actually have to just bite the bullet and buy some proper blocking wires. I also bought wire from the gardening shop, and again it's in a coil, so you can't, it's not dead straight. I want dead straight wire, don't I? So I might just have to do that and buy some blocking boards. I have no blocking boards, I just pin directly onto the carpet. A towel if I wear blocked. A towel on the carpet and then I pin. I'm going to have to sort that out because I've got a list of shawls that comes to about 11 shawls. If I can make those all in the next year, then well I'll be amazed, because that's not going to happen. But I've got 11 different ideas about how I'm going to make what I want to make. I've written them all out in a little thing, and I've just got a little sort of a little map of collections. I've got potentially 5 collection ideas. So that's not just shawls though, so that's lots of other things. 1, 2, 3, 4 for this. I need 4 shawls for the seasons collection, and I'm going to work on the winter one next, which is weird. I should be working on the summer one, but I don't want to. Got an idea for the winter one, haven't got an idea for the summer one. And then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 shawl designs for a different collection that I've done absolutely nothing on. 3 or 4 for another collection, and then hats, socks and mitts, blah blah blah. Socks, yeah, I said it. And then some C2C ones that I want to play with, but I just don't have the time. And what with my indecisiveness, I need to nip that in the bud and start making decisions, which is why I swatched that. Because there's absolutely no way I'm going to make all of those designs if I don't just pull my finger out. I'm going to become decisive, I'm going to start instigating things, and I'm going to start cracking my own whip. Or something. We'll see. Anyway, when I don't know, I might, I don't know. This it's not going to be exactly the same as the old one. I might try and do an edging on this one, but I haven't worked out any maths really either for doing an edging. Not yet. It turns out I quite like being super prepared when it comes to a shawl, and I like working out the maths in advance. I never thought I'd say that, ever, but it makes life so much easier. Right, let's talk Edinburgh, because that's where I was last weekend. Was it last weekend? The weekend before? Oh, it's the weekend before now. It's been a long time. I decided not to do an Edinburgh special. I decided not to do an out and about vlog style thing. One, because I felt a bit silly and self-conscious, and two, I just wanted to not worry about that and just enjoy the moment. I didn't want to miss any. So I didn't film anything, and I didn't take any photographs. I didn't take my camera. I had my phone, but that's all. And then I just kind of went round. I only did one day, and it's exhausting, not to mention overwhelming, and it's a mad rush to see everything and see everyone and do as much as you can in a short space of time. And that might have been a mistake. I probably should have done 2 days. I think those people that did 2 days got more out of the experience, not only because they were there for longer, but because they could relax and, well, I'm assuming, relax and do it at a much slower pace. So you could do the social thing one day, and then the other day you're there, just concentrate on looking at all the pretty yarn and doing shopping and stuff. But I wouldn't know, because I didn't do that. I literally sort of mad dashed it, and got in there. I was like zip up the aisle. I was like, oh my god, it's 12 o'clock, I'm supposed to go and meet everybody by the photo booth. Oh my god, let's go. And then turning up, and they were like, woohoo, we're over here. And I was like, oh my god, hello. And it was just mental, absolutely mental. And but it was fabulous. I got to see loads of people, and we did gift swaps and hugs and stuff like that, and I missed loads of people too, and I don't know how I did it, because some people I missed because we were there on different days, but Catherine from Crafternoon Treats, she was there the same day I was there. We were all hanging out at this table, but not at the same time. I've no idea how I didn't bump into each other, because although there's a load of people, huge number of people, it's not that big, I don't think. It's one main hall of market shopping type thing, and then there were 2 rooms with lots of tables with a load of people sat around and hanging out and chatting and stuff. And all the crocheters were in a certain place, which is what I went and sought out. So whilst I was there, Catherine must have been shopping, and vice versa. Who knows? But anyway, I did go. A bunch of us had agreed to meet at 12 o'clock to have a photograph taken, which you might have seen. I haven't posted the official one on Instagram actually. I just I reposted one that Charlie had done, and it was of a group of us together, and that's me, Charlie, Faye, Clarissa, Beth and Caroline, and it was just lovely to meet everybody, really was, and because I met Alison and Vivian as well, and they were lovely, but we didn't get to chat very much. Again, it is a whirlwind, it really is. And it turns out that I am quite shy in that sort of environment. I didn't think I would. I thought by now I'd be sort of comfortable enough to go blah 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 blah, but actually you kind of sort of go and so you get a bit shy. One day I won't be, one day. Right, do you want to see my stuff? Let's have a look at my stuff. I have got, it's quite a big bag. I've got all of this. But it's okay because it's all going to become beautiful things. It's okay. Last year I made stuff out of what I bought and made some of that money back, sort of. So it's allowed. Just, you see me try and justify my purchases. Oh, screw it, I don't have to. I bought this because I love it. And this is my thing and this is what I do. It's not like I go to Topshop anymore and go and buy 3 pairs of trousers and 5 jumpers, is it? I don't do that anymore. So this is my Topshop. I picked up a pattern, free pattern from Toft for a little scarf, which is quite pretty. It was really good actually, a massive crochet brand had a huge presence, a really big presence at the Edinburgh Yarn Festival, which is probably predominantly known by knitters. There are a lot of knitters there, and I think all of those knitters assume that everybody else there is a knitter, and you go along there and go, actually no, I'm crocheting. But we were there representing crochet, me and my fellow vlogcasters and podcasters, and Toft, which, yeah, I was pleased to see, that was my point, pleased to see them having a huge presence because they were one of the sponsors of the event, and they were teaching people how to crochet at several tables, and they had lovely little tiny balls of alpaca, and I got taught how to do the loop stitch, which I'd not really thought about trying before, to be fair, but that was fun to do. And and even sort of, I think they were geared up for thinking that people that approach would be knitters, not crocheters. So yeah, I had a point, another one, but it's gone. Psh. So let's just move on. Okie pokey. One of my purchases. It wasn't my first. It wasn't my last. From Toft was actually this alpaca pom pom, which is just beautifully soft. And yes, it is real alpaca, but they chop it off dead alpacas, so it's not like they're getting hurt just for pom poms. They wouldn't do that. That's not ethical. Oh, it's just so beautifully soft, and it's going to be a pom pom for a hat that I'm going to knit, and I'll show you the yarn I'm going to use to knit it with. In a minute, because let me show you my prezzies. Charlie went above and beyond. Like literally, I gave her a little bow I'd crocheted onto a hair slide, but I got so many things. I can't even show you all of them. There's just too many. But and she did it for everybody. It's like, oh my god. Lots of pretty coasters. I'm assuming they're coasters. I could make a garland out of them, I suppose. Oh, my stitch markers. Some stickers. Oh yeah, I won't go through it all, there's too much. A little bumblebee. And a bookmark. I've got a little heart hanging thing and a pen and all sorts of things. In a nice bag, which isn't here because, oh, I've got some other stuff in it. And a marker, a paper clip with a crochet flower on it, and some stitch markers, which I've left on here to show you, but I haven't got the zoomy camera so you can't see, but one's a butterfly and one's a cat. I'm just going to take them off and put them in my stitch marker purse now I've shown you. My husband bought me a little kitty purse from a Japanese shop when he went to London a while back, and inside is where I keep my stitch markers. So there's that, and all of these things from Charlie are in a bag made by Vivian from Pearl and Plum. I've talked about them before because not only is Vivian one half of the Keep Calm and Carry On podcast, but she also makes these bags for the shop for Pearl and Plum. and I got given 2. The other one was a prize for the granny cow, and I got to choose which one I wanted, and I chose this one because it was cute. So that's got all my gifts in. It's a much better size and shape than mine, but I guess I just need to practice more. So there's that, and also I've got this beautiful Notions pouch from them as well, which has got the KCAC white badge on it. And this is a really nice size as well. In fact, this was one of my, I don't know what the simplicity of it, because, and the linen fabric and stuff like that. It's just a beautiful thing that made me go, oh, it's so nice. Right, my tummy's about to rumble. I'd better speed up. It's going full pelt now. And I got a little cake, which smells, I think it's lavender, but it's not just lavender. There's something else in there too. I don't know what it is. Chamomile? Not sure. Or maybe it's just lavender. I don't know. That's from Clarissabeth from Crochet Cakes. And then I got some little pens, because that's Star Wars. And then a Star Wars little pouch again, which I think is top notch, and again beautifully made. Love that. I love all my bits. I'm such a bag lady. I love this kind of thing. I love having all these things, and I always find things to put in them. Oh, I know what I'm going to put in this one. I ordered some highlighter pens the other day. My highlighter pens can go in there. Perfect. Just the right size. I better take out that smelly thing. There we go. That is now my bag for highlighter pens. So I got that. And I got lots of hugs and squeezes off other people as well. And that was good. And then I went shopping. Yeah, I got complete... No, actually, I came in about on budget. I did not go stupidly over. Maybe by 20 quid I went over. 30 quid I went over, which is not too bad. And I've had already hours of delight just looking at this stuff. I've just noticed that it stopped recording. I don't know where I was chatting. But I went to the Blacker stand, and this made me laugh because I bought 2 skeins of stuff I've already used before. I thought I'd choosing completely different colours, but obviously I'm really, really into the shade that is called Valency. This is Tamar Luster Blend, the same yarn that I used the Emergence of Spring to make. Does that sentence make sense? I don't know. But I bought another couple of colours as well. Boop. To make my winter version, which will obviously be a completely different design. But I can't believe I chose the same shade. I didn't even think about it. I was just like, that's a pretty colour, I'll get those. And it wasn't until I got back that I realised they were the same as the other ones. And then I don't want to show you the other colours, not properly. I want this to be a sort of surprise. What I really wanted, actually, I did have to choose this colour. Although I said, oh yes, that's pretty, I'll get that one. I didn't, it wasn't my first choice. My first choice was one I'd seen online. And it was like a creamy colour, almost like a, you know, I don't think it had any colour put on it. So the natural colour of the sheep I wanted. And it was called Ottery, which was, not only was it because it was like a nice shade and I thought it would work well for a winter one, a winter shawl, but it was called Ottery. And I live in Ottery, I wanted it because of that reason, but it's discontinued. And I was talking to the lady at Blacker, and she said that it's been blended with another one of the colours, one of the other natural colours, to become one yarn, and they're not calling it Ottery, it's going to be called something else. But all of these yarns from the Tamar Luster blend are named after rivers, apart from there is no River Ottery, which may be one of the reasons why they stopped calling one of the yarns Ottery. But they decided that otter wasn't I don't know. There is a river otter. We've got the river otter runs through town, and it does have otters on it and beavers, and which, by the way, if you don't live in the UK, it's really unusual. It's the only river in England to have wild beavers. The only place in England that has wild beavers is the river otter. Just down the road. They live just down there. I've never seen them. Never seen one. And I've not seen an otter here either. But they exist. Anyway, none of that's got anything to do with anything because that yarn doesn't exist anymore. So I got that instead. So that's for my winter version, my winter take on a season's, is part of the season collection. I've got an idea. I've definitely got an idea for the shaping of that one. The autumn and the summer shawls will be different shapes, and I'm still playing around with ideas for those. The pom-pom, I've got another tummy rumble coming on. Can't concentrate, too hungry. This is Ching Fibres. Every single skein on their stand was glorious. It's like a little thunderstorm going on in my belly. It's just a thing of absolute beauty. This is 100% superwash merino. And it's just glorious. I love it. I'm going to knit a hat with this, and then the pom-pom will go on top. But I really want to make it now, but I really want to make something else at the same time. This is my decision coming through. I really want to start this. I've highlighted maybe 3 or 4 YouTube tutorials on how to knit a simple hat, because I figured that's probably the easiest way to go rather than trying to fight my way through a written pattern. But I'm also desperate to get started on that crescent shawl. I could sort of go a little bit here, a little bit there, a little bit here, a little bit there. I could try that. But this one in particular, out of all my yarns, I cannot stop staring at this. That's going to be the first thing I make, because I love it. Those knitted mitts, did I show you that already? I would like to do them in these 3 colours. Get out of the way, label, for goodness sake. Those 3 colours. Knit by numbers. These are 25 gram minis, which is good because normally minis are 20 grams, aren't they? So 25 grams. Oh, beautiful. This is John Arbon Textiles. I think it's 100% merino, but these labels don't say. But this big one, I'm assuming it's the exact same because it's knit by numbers 4-ply. Are these 4-ply or DK? 4-ply. Yeah, I'm assuming it's the same as this, which is indeed 100% pure Falklands merino wool, organically farmed. You get 400 metres to 100 grams. And it's beautifully soft. So I got 3 skeins. It's such a beautiful blue. It's so beautiful. Shawl. I've got an idea about how that shawl looks in my head, and it looks beautiful, but I don't know how to do it. The logistics of the design, it means translating it from one shape into another, and I don't know how to do that. I always say that though, and then I have a play in it, and then it sort of, then you work it out and everything's fine. So fingers crossed that that'll work out well. And then, see, I mean, the bag looks big, but actually now I've talked about most of it already. It's not huge, is it? It's not huge. I've got 3 more skeins. And that is these. And these are going to be a shawl. The idea is that they do sort of go together, but in a kind of crazy clashy way. But like this mohair is making me itch. This is Garn Sur, which is Norwegian yarn, I think. Hand dyed by refugee women in Norway. 75% superwash merino, 25% nylon. It's 425 meters per 100 grams for this one, and it's there were loads of stalls actually, but obviously loads of stalls, but this stall, Eden Cottage Yarns and Martin's Lab were the ones that I just stood and stared at for the longest, just like wow. And I didn't buy anything from Martin's Lab, and I really wish I had. One day I will. Gorgeous, gorgeous, so many colours, and so many speckles and yummies. But those were the 3 ones that got my attention the most. And it's funny because actually it was only the Garn Sur that I bought from. I didn't buy anything from Eden Cottage Yarns. My sisters did. They bought quite a big. They both bought 3 skeins from Eden Cottage. I stood and stared at 2 skeins for the longest time. It's called Pendle, and I was like, I've been to Pendle Hill. This is destiny. But I kind of went, do you know what? I'm not going to get. And I was looking at it and going, these are what I want to make my socks out of. But I haven't even got a design in my head yet for socks. I've got an idea about what to stitch, but I don't know how to put it all together. So I was just like, don't buy them now because you can't work on them now. There's no point. This stuff isn't going anywhere. You can buy it in 6 months' time. Put it back. And literally, I had that conversation going around in my circle for 10 minutes before I put it back. And then my sister went and bought some Pendle yarn anyway, so meh. But yeah, just if I was made of money, I totally would have bought it. If I was made of money, this whole room would be full of yarn. So yeah, there was another. I wish I'd bought. There was another skein, but this was so expensive. It's £25. And I was just like, you can only buy one because it's 25 quid. But the other one was just as stunning. Just simply, just like, it looked, and I saw a sample knitted up and it looked brilliant, and oh, I loved it so much. But yeah, I didn't buy it. I bought this one instead because it was more unusual and it was more different. And the other one was basically more of this and some grey speckles, but all like on a cream background. So it's like lots of lime greens and dark greens and yellows with some black speckles in it. And wowzers, was it good. But because this one was more interesting in a interesting in a different way and more unusual, I went for this one. So nice. And then to go with it, this one has the same, believe it or not, this one does have the same colours within that skein. So it's going to go with that. This one's from Easy Knits, and they gave me this bag to put everything in. And I showed them my 3 spring shawl because that's what I made from the Easy Knit stuff I bought last year. Do you remember the 3 spring shawl, the grey crescent with the neon yellow wiggles and the dark grey wiggle that I made in the summer. This is mohair. I just grabbed it and went, I'm buying that. There was no decision of this one. There was no humming and blah blah, shall I, shan't I? It was just like, pick it up. Can I have this, please? Triplets, Sunset Luster, 72% mohair, 28% silk. Oh, it's a 2-ply. 50 grams only, but there's 420 meters. So that's going to go with that one, as is this. And this one was the most expensive one I bought. La Bien Amie, £27 for a bit of wool. A bit shocking, isn't it? But the colours in here are the same as what's in them two. We've got blues, pinks, greens and yellows, but just obviously less of them. Wow. But the funny thing is that this one is actually a sport weight, but it doesn't actually look too much fatter than the 4-ply of the other one, and therefore I don't care. It doesn't really matter to me. I've made shawls that are a mix of sport weight and 4-ply before, and you really can't tell the difference. It doesn't bother me that much. I guess the only way it would be a nuisance was if your pattern depended on a certain amount and you didn't have it because it was slightly heavier and therefore less meters per 100 grams or whatever. But I don't care. I love it. And it's like, La Bien Amie is the posh one, isn't it? It's the Fabergé egg of yarn, almost. So they are going to be, yeah, so it's either going to look like a bit of a mess, or it will be amazing. But do you know what? One of the things I love about playing with yarn is that you can just try out all these different things and experiment. There's no point playing safe. So well, I say that and then I get really frustrated when something doesn't work. But I want to try these things so that I can find exactly what it is that I love so much. I don't know. It's really hard to put your finger on something like that. It's so subjective, isn't it? And I did buy very much just because I loved something rather than trying to be sensible. I figured there's no point trying to be sensible. This is like an once a year thing. I may not even go back to Edinburgh Yarn Festival again, I don't know. So whilst you're there, and then also the vendors change, so I may never see those particular makers again either. Just buy it. If you've got a set budget and you're buying, oh, I don't know what I'm trying to say. Don't listen to me. Anyway, so that's my yarn haul, and my plans are mostly short, one hat and shawl, and one knitted hat and knitted mittens, and then the rest will be crochet shawls. So yeah. And then we went to Ginger Twist and had a look around there. That seems like some sort of mecca that you need to make a pilgrimage towards. Teeny tiny shop. Only like 5 minutes from my sister's house, so we went there and popped in, said hello and had a chat. But I didn't buy anything. I just wanted to go in there. I felt really bad not buying anything, but I hadn't been to the festival by that point, so I didn't know what I was going to see there, and I figured that I could always buy from Ginger Twist at the festival. I didn't this year, but I did last year. I say I bought last year, my sister bought me a bag. So other than a cancelled flight, it was a pretty good weekend actually, all round. We went for a meal out in the evening. On the first night we were there, we went, which was nice. It was a taster menu, 7 courses, 3 of which were pudding, which made me cross because there was no cheese course. I want cheese. Don't give me 3 puddings. Where's my cheese? I haven't got a sweet tooth. I'm a savoury person, and I felt a bit hard done by with that. But other than that, it was quite nice. And yeah, we turned up to the airport to go home, and they called for the gate to be opened and stuff like that, so we all went up and queued, and then we were all in a big queue, and then they turned around and said, yeah, really sorry, but your flight's cancelled. Go home. Well, you can't go home. Go back. So, oh, okay. And so we had another 24 hours in Edinburgh. I was sat at the airport going, go on the EasyJet app and like try and transfer your flight to the next day. It's like, quick, and it's like this race to get flights before anybody else. But we managed to get a very similar kind of time flight. It was in the morning the next day. So we had another 24 hours in Edinburgh. So we went to John Lewis, where there's a huge haberdashery section. The John Lewis in Exeter has literally about 3 shelves of wool and that's it. A sewing machine for sale and a couple of notions. It's pretty paltry. So to see this huge whole section, it's a room of its own, was pretty good. But I didn't buy anything, I just went to look. So we did that, and then we were so exhausted we went back and just hung around at my sister's house while she was at work. And then I cooked a roast dinner in the evening, and it was quite nice actually. I missed the children, but as sort of cancellations go, it wasn't disastrous, and it wasn't. Well, I think we were kind of prepared for it because we knew it was snowing. We knew it was bad in the southwest, so it wasn't necessarily leaving Edinburgh that would be the problem. It was getting to Bristol Airport that was the problem, and indeed that was the case. But yeah, and that's it. And the only thing I haven't done is tell you my story about when I was at my sister's house. I got in a flat, couldn't find my crochet hook anywhere. I turned the living room upside down, I turned the bedroom upside down, I could not find it anywhere. And I was getting really frustrated, and I sort of just went, where is it? And it was dangling from my armpit in my jumper. Not this jumper, a different number. I just had it hanging from my armpit. My husband's like, is it behind your ear? It's normally behind your ear. No, it's not behind my ear. It's under my armpit. And on that note, I shall see you in about 3 weeks. If you've stuck with me this far, then well done you. Thank you so much for joining me. Oh my god, I just dribbled. I'm so hungry. It's not even 12 o'clock yet. Thank you so much for joining me. I'll see you again next time. Cheers, bye bye.